meeting. We have some newly elected officials that need to be sworn in. So at this time, we'd ask that those newly elected officials come join Judge Humes and come right up front here if you could.
Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be with you today. It's an honor to be here and do this. Let's have the elected officials come up here. We have Tara Madsen as treasurer, Carla Medley as recorder, Amy Schmidt-Peters as assessor, and Jared Haddock as commissioner. Yeah, that looks great right there. Congratulations to all of you on your election to public office. I've recently taken the same oath, and I guess I just invite you to think about the oath as I give it here in a moment, and then maybe afterwards reflect on it for a minute. It's going to refer to the Constitution, and in my view, the first 3 words of the Constitution are probably the most important. In the preamble, the first 3 words are "we the people." And that's where we as elected officials have the opportunity to serve, as it is at the pleasure of the people. Each of us in our public service will serve in distinct branches of government, 3 distinct branches established by the Constitution. So I just invite you to reflect on that as you begin your service here. Each of you, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll have each of you sign this form here and we'll make it official.
Starts now.
Yeah, I can't see the map. I don't know what they're in for today.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. It's been a sure. We've been able to do a lot because we have had disagreements in writing. Agendas.
Yes. Big time.
It's pretty easy when you're not.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thanks,
Thank
Judge.
you, Judge. Appreciate your time. So we're officially ready now to kick off our commission meeting for January 15th. So we'd ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Give a minute here. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Commissioners, we have 2 sets of minutes. The first one being from September 4th.
Since Commissioner Haddock wasn't here, I'll make the motion we approve the minutes from September 4th, 2024.
Okay, and I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The minutes
The second set of minutes are from the December 18th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from December 18th, 2024.
And I will step down a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next item is the Employee of the Month. Kellie Payne is a little under the weather, so we could have Tess Taunts.
Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm filling in for Kellie Payne. Again, I'm Tess Taunts. She's out this afternoon. For our January 2025 Employee of the Month, it actually goes to a department. It's going to court security and trackers, specifically Victor Turner, Jesse Fawcett, Chris Tusher, Mike Huff, and Sherrod Ware. Sean Adley is the one who actually nominated them, so if they all want to come up and Sean wants to explain why, that'd be great.
Well, Commissioners, so I'd like to thank you and kind of give you a reason why I nominated these folks for Employee of the Month. So most people know law enforcement as either you work the road or you work in the jail. There are people that are out in the outskirts, and these folks are definitely those. Court security is huge. Lots of people are coming in and out of the courts. We have lots of jury trials. And a lot of times those jury trials are very emotional for not only the families of the victims, but also those who are being tried. And these guys do a great job. Another facet to court security, like Tess had said, was pretrial, probation, 24/7, drug court, and family treatment court. Everybody at the SO has a work phone. Very few have to answer that phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and these guys definitely have to do those things. So I nominated them for that reason, because they work their butts off, and a lot of times you hear that law enforcement is a thankless job. I disagree. I think law enforcement's a very thankful job. It's just the minority is quiet. So thank you to all you guys for all your hard work, and appreciate it. Keep it up. That's it.
Thank you. While you're giving those awards, I'd appreciate the words and nominating these gentlemen for that. If you guys would like to make any comments, you'd be happy to do so. If you don't want to, you're fine. It's an open mic. So, all right.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate what you're doing. The next item is the Super Service Award, Tina Grange.
Hi, Commissioners. Congratulations, Commissioner Haddock. Welcome to your first meeting. That's a pretty exciting thing to be able to witness, so I'm glad I was here today. So I'm pleased to nominate a very deserving member of our community for the Super Service Award. This person has consistently gone above and beyond to help others, whether it's offering rides to those in need, clearing snow from sidewalks, or simply being there to lend a hand. Their acts of kindness reflect the true spirit of community, and they never seek recognition for the good that they do. From helping stranded motorists to teaching the next generation the importance of giving back, the impact is deeply felt throughout Carbon County. ETV News recently highlighted this individual's endless acts of kindness, and I thought it was only fitting that we complete this recognition by awarding them the Tourism Super Service Award. It is my honor to present this month's award to Helper resident Jesse Candelaria. And check out, this support is all his family, by the way. Surprise!
I thought I was going to appear for my wife. I thought I was going to support her.
He's also very surprised. His wife said, I have to go to the commission meeting for something for my business.
And I believe her until just now.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. Yes, you always believe the wife.
Yeah, I just want to share something really quick. He's going to be mad that I'm telling you this, but I seen them coming in downstairs, and I knew it was supposed to be a surprise. So I seen him, and I said, hey, what are you guys doing here? And she said, oh, we're here to see you. And I was thinking, oh, well, maybe he knows. And I said, do you know where to go? And she goes, no. So I say, go up those stairs and go to the left. And she goes, oh my gosh, Tina, I have to tell you, on the way here, there was somebody stranded on the side of the road, and Jesse wanted to stop, and he said, I can't. My wife has to be to this thing.
It just happened, right?
So this is exciting. Jesse, go ahead. Here's your certificate, and congratulations, and feel free to say anything you'd like.
Wow. Well, I appreciate this county. I appreciate all you guys. I have a huge support system behind me. And, you know, it doesn't take much to do good. It doesn't cost nothing. If you do good, you feel good. If you do bad, you feel bad. If we all do just a little bit, we can make a huge difference. I don't know who this will reach, but I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, family. And Tina, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jesse. We appreciate it. And thanks for the family support. That's tremendous. So thank you. We'll move on to the next item, which is review and possible approval of an agreement between the Carbon County Office of Tourism and Hub Collective.
We'll give them a few minutes to exit.
They didn't want to stay for the meeting, apparently.
You lost all your visitors.
I know, I was like, whoa. Those are always fun to do, but that one was super fun. There goes everybody.
I think you're good, Tina.
You think I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, commissioners. So this is, we're coming to the commission to ask for permission to go into an agreement with Hub Collective. If you remember, we worked with Hub for 5 years before we hired a new agency, and we love our new agency and everything that they're doing. But we wanted an opportunity to work with Hub to create some of our design elements. They're just so well knowledged and know us so well. And so the scope of work basically outlines them on a per project basis, so by the hour. So we're not locking into anything long-term. When they're done with projects, they're done with projects. But I did work this into our co-op marketing grant. And so there is $15,000 that we're allocating to that if they do all that work for us. But right now the agreement is just by the hour.
So this is a continuation of the services that they've already done with a set max
Yes.
amount, but it'll
With
be
a set.
charged out hourly.
Yes.
Okay.
So once they reach that, then we're completed with that.
And you're content with their services? And
Absolutely.
okay.
We're excited.
Commissioners, any comments?
I don't have any questions. I just think the efforts that you're going through and all the things that are happening with the tourism efforts are huge, and it's making a big difference. So thank you for what you're doing, but I have no questions.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the agreement between Carbon County Office of Tourism and Hub Collective.
I have a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item number 6, Tina, if you'll hang tight for a couple here. Review and possible approval of a billboard agreement between Carbon County Office of Tourism and AJB Holdings.
Yes, Commissioners, this is just another part of extending what we do in the tourism office. And this opportunity, I feel, is just so great to us because I don't know if you're aware of a lot of the billboards along Highway 6 coming from Helper. They're taken up. I mean, you can, in the 8 years that I've worked here, you cannot get space on those. And we really talked about instead of doing billboards outside the area, we can use some of our funding for in-state marketing through the grant guidelines. And I met with Tony Basso and his team, to see if there was just an opportunity, because I will say those are the hardest billboards to get, are the ones that Tony owns, is because he has so many businesses. So through this collaboration in this meeting, he's kind enough to offer us 4 billboards. So 2 from both directions going from Price out of Helper headed to Salt Lake, and then the opposite way, and then in Wellington, from Wellington coming into Price, and then also leaving and going into Wellington. So we're super excited about this opportunity. This was also written in the grant that we are approved for. So the cost, we would pay for half, and then the state of Utah would pay for the other half if the commissioners would be so kind to approve the agreement.
Okay, and it looks like it's for a 1 year term, so we could decide how effective these are. And I think everybody realizes there's a lot of traffic that goes up and down Highway 6 anymore, so this is probably high visibility for Carbon County, so.
Absolutely. And I think the idea of it is that we're not just a stop through or a pass through onto somewhere else. So we're hoping with those billboards, we can encourage people to take those exits into town. And we hope to do that through the creative design of those billboards as well. So.
Okay.
No questions.
There's no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the billboard agreement between Carbon County Office of Tourism and AJB Holdings.
Have a motion
I'll second it.
and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
And we'll continue on with Ms. Grange. Review and possible approval of the 2025 amended agreement with Placer.ai.
Yes, Commissioner. So Placers is the company that we have that does all of our analytics. So we use those analytics to steer our marketing efforts. So who's visiting, where they're coming from, and also wrote into the grant. So we wrote the grant as $20,000. Last year, as an introductory rate, we worked with them for $17,000. Because of inflation, and they've now added a new component that we're able to get with our contract is visitor spending. So what they're actually spending money on when they visit the area. And so that's the need for the increase from $17,000 to $21,850.
Okay, great. Hopefully they're spending a lot of money in the county, right?
Yeah.
Just one question for you, for the public. So these dollars, are they coming from county tax dollars or from tourism dollars that are collected from the hotels and the restaurants?
Right. That's a great question, Commissioner. And I think it is important to educate the public. So everything that we do in the tourism department is funded through our transient room tax and restaurant tax. We are not funded by the general fund, and that's why we have a board that helps make recommendations to us on how we should spend that money in order of priority, which we then, present to our commissioners. And so, and especially with the grant funding, so I allocated $20,000 for analytics for this year. So that means Department of Tourism would spend $10,000 out of transient room tax, and then the state would pay the other half. The balance of the $1,850 would come to the county, and we would pay that out of the transient room tax portion of our budget.
Great.
Thank you.
You bet.
There no other questions?
Have none.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 amended agreement with Placer.ai.
And I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next one here on the agenda is review and possible approval of changes to the Carbon County Tax Advisory Board bylaws.
I think
Tina
this is
Grange.
my last one, then you don't have to see me for a minute until next month. So we had our tax advisory board meeting, and I presented the recommendation to change the bylaws to them yesterday, which they then approved. So the changes that we requested to make is in our current bylaws, we are electing a new chair and vice chair every year. My recommendation was to change the bylaws to where the vice chair would automatically move into the chair position, and we would only have to vote in a new vice chair. So the board did vote to make that change. And so we're bringing it to you for final approval. The other one was we ran into a situation last year where we really needed to make a decision before our tax advisory board meeting And so at that time I went to Casey and I asked if we could do the voting through email, and he advised me only if it's in your bylaws. And so when I reviewed the bylaws, I seen that it was not in there. And so I made the recommendation to add that if something came up and we had to do a vote with our board through email, that we're able to. So I've requested to add it to the bylaws, and they made that recommendation as well.
Okay. And while we're talking about this too, are you good with board members? You have all the spots filled and no vacancies?
Yeah, no vacancies. We have 9, 5 of which are the majority of those tax-paying entities, so hotels, restaurants, and we had 4 new ones start this term this year. So we're super excited. We have a very intelligent and engaged board. We don't meet just to meet, and they're very involved with what we do, and they give Shanny and I such great direction to then bring to the commission to ask for your support. But they're very in tune with tourism, where the dollars come from, how we are supposed to spend that. And so I appreciate them a lot. We couldn't do this without them. So
Great. Thank you.
you bet.
Could I add something with this? The boards that we set on, this is pretty standard. It's acceptable in theory with the state and the rules that are there. So I think this will add another level of being able to get things done a little quicker when there's a timely matter. And it creates a literal track record of the question asked in the vote from every single board member that would respond to those emails. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the changes to the Carbon County Tax Advisory Board bylaws.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate it.
commissioners. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Tina.
Next on our agenda is the review and possible approval of the Carbon County Visitor Center Memorandum of Understanding. Shanny Wilson.
I'm only on there once. Tina's on there 10 times. I'm on there once.
She's hogging all the time.
So this is our year-to-year agreement that we have with, it's an agreement between Carbon County, the USU Eastern Prehistoric Museum, and Price City to employ a person to work in the visitor center, primarily during the weekends, so they can help direct traffic and offer advice and answer questions to visitors and travelers. But this move from the visitor center here in the county building over to the Prehistoric Museum was, I think, a really good move, something Tina worked really hard on for a lot of years and made that happen. So the county, we agreed to pay through our budget, the tourism budget, a little over $10,000 to help fund this position. This position has not been funded in the last several months, but I've had some conversations with Tim Riley and with some other entities, just trying to figure out how we can better serve in this position and make it a little bit more proactive. So those conversations are happening, and I'm hopeful that we'll get that position filled this year. So.
No questions.
There's no questions. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Carbon County Visitor Center Memorandum of Understanding.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 10 is open sealed bids for the mobile mill vehicle. Seth, did we receive any bids?
We've got one bid here from Auto Farm.
Okay.
This is for a new 2025 Ford F-150 regular cab XL. MSRP is, well, let's just say the bid for price Ford is $44,270. Does say the timeline of delivery would be 3 to 6 months.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So that's basically exactly the truck that we purchased from them last year for the same purpose. So as far as I can see, it's exactly what we need. So.
Do they need any modifications?
Yeah, so once basically they'll order the truck for us, that'll be shipped to the manufacturer that puts the box on it, and then they'll ship it out here to us. So
But the bid for 44,000.
that'll be just for the truck.
Oh, just the truck.
Yeah. As far as we can tell, there's only one place that we've found that even will put those boxes on. I can't remember where it's located, but
It's in Indiana,
yeah,
and that's one thing they mentioned. The bid is that they'll drop ship it to Indiana.
yeah,
Elkhart.
perfect.
Okay.
Very needed.
It is. This will be probably the last one we'll need it for quite some time. We'll finally have all of our 2006 trucks out of commission.
Well, and
So-
Go ahead.
maybe you could just tell us how many people we serve with those trucks here in the.
Currently, it averages about 250 residents of Carbon County that we're delivering meals to. So
And is it this year that you're getting a bus as well from UDOT?
we received them. Yeah, we
Got that.
received
Okay.
we received both of them. Yeah, I think it was October actually that we ended up getting them. So
Great.
that's been so great.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. If we're ready for a motion, I'd just make the motion that we acknowledge the one bid and allow for Commissioner Haddock and Rebecca to make a decision.
Okay.
Authorize the purchase.
Okay. Got a motion?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11 is a public hearing for input regarding the mental health and substance use disorder treatment needs in Carbon County. Melissa Huntington, Executive Director of Four Corners Community Behavioral Health Incorporated.
Hello, Commissioners. Thanks for having us here today. I'm Melissa Huntington. I'm the Executive Director of Four Corners Community Behavioral Health, and we are a private nonprofit organization covering the counties of Carbon, Emery, and Grand, providing comprehensive behavioral health services and prevention. As part of being a part of the local authority system, we yearly come to each of our counties and encourage the public to come and provide comment around the services we're providing to them, or that they're receiving, or from community partners or anyone who wants to give comments. So that's what we're here today for.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and open the public
Yep.
hearing, and then if anybody would like to come up to the podium and at least state your name, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and open a public meeting, or public hearing, I should say, excuse me, at 4:59. If anybody would like to come address.
My name is Daniel Brock d'Avignon. I had his sign on my yard and his son at my table probably weekly for a year, describing how people can have a whole comprehensive approach to housing, mental health, medical care, roof over their head, and reemployment services, all in the free market. I'm not here to recommend any tax money. I have 89 postgraduate credits, half of which are towards a master's degree in social work, the other half in education and economics. And I would like to speak against the authority complex of the jailer, probation company, politician, and behavioral. I call it a complex. Four Corners I've gotten very familiar with since last March. 2 years ago, I volunteered with my wife in the East Carbon Ward of the LDS Church to work with people in physical pain who take alcohol, drugs, are homeless. We have about a dozen such folks in East Carbon that require a human investment of time. Out here, you have 65 campfires in the Price River, of which 1 to 4 people are huddled around freezing. I am the chair of the Republican Party in Precinct 20. We meet in these facilities at no cost as a Republican Party, out at the facilities for larger events at the county fairgrounds at no charge. But whereas in 3 years we will have homeless people converted into homeowners using various percentages of income, of rising income as they get healed and so forth. Four Corners could be a very significant part of this. I praise them in 2 of 5 categories of what a comprehensive mental health and substance abuse outfit ought to do. One is counseling, and the other is pill pushing. In some cases, with the probation officers, coerced pill pushing. You will take this. If their behavior is inconsistent with their neighbors or family or the police, and they wind up in the county jail here or any other county jail, their meds are cut off. They're so important otherwise. Dr. Laura Dotson, who is an excellent nurse practitioner, she is limited in what she can do. They are completely ignored by your county jailers. They have no status. There is a circuit riding medical officer that goes to the various jails on an erratic schedule. So if there's anything that needs to be done or some meds or somebody has a psychological problem, that's ignored. They're isolated. They're not necessarily taken care of. The medical officer isn't there. The sheriffs do the best they can, and I'm sure they know that. However, in terms of one important psychological aspect is communication. It's called the U.S. mail. And if you spend $35 to immediately get mail of a legal dispute or whatever the problem was the person is now in jail for that may or may not have involved alcohol or drugs, it isn't delivered within 24 hours or even 36. And if they've got a warrant in some other county and they're hauled off, they never get the peace of mind to know that there are people trying to reach them to settle the matter that caused them to be in there. So this is somewhat distressing to people. And if they're already on prescribed meds from Four Corners, they don't get them, period. And if they're in jail for 77 days in, say, Weber County, adjudicating evidentiary hearings here, they get no meds. No matter how one appeals to public defenders, prosecutors, judges, their medical officers, if I put in paper, it'd be stacked this high, to these kind of medical facility people, Four Corners has no status. They've tried and tried. Secondly, you need to be aware that as an authority system, the neglect of, shall we say, checks and balances, fresh thinking, gee, there was a Constitution thing about that. There is none. My appeals to meet Miss Huntington for 4 months and talk to their board and address them on these subjects. There's 3 things that their clients could use that they're not getting. One is a $10,000 what's called QEEG machine. That's a qualitative electroencephalogram. Stick electrodes on your head, you listen to music, do other tasks if you're an adult. If you're a child, the Drake Institute in California, for instance, you're watching Mario Brothers, Mario stops in mid-stride. If your brain goes off, beta wave concentration. So it's a way to retrain the brain. Many of the people I'm working with have had PTSD. They're veterans. We just lost one 2 Sundays ago to death. The other 2 we're currently working with. They need badly these biofeedback machines. They've been around since Vietnam. They work with fighter pilots, other things with the U.S. government. The VA doesn't do it for enlisted people. Most of the veterans we deal with are not officers. However, it works. And in retraining the brain to concentrate for clarity, many people are taking drugs not to evade reality. They want to be productive. They have no interest in recreational drugs. Some of them are trying to get out of pain. They just want to concentrate. They just want to work, as in be productive. They're not getting that machine. I would have addressed them 3 months ago on this. Hopefully their board would have approved it. Zero communication. Secondly, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which presses oxygen into your tissues, whether it's a bum knee that the police mashed in the wrong way and they're in such pain that they can't think. They're electricians, they can't work. So they want to take methamphetamines. There is a legal methamphetamine that these people never tell anybody about. And Dr. Dotson is too chicken because I might lose my job if I approved that. DESXOXYN, Desoxyn is what it's called. I have one veteran that needs that, has requested that in writing several times since last May, and has gotten zero cooperation except for that response. Getting him to a neurosurgeon, a good one. There are 2 associated with the VA and 8 more that do surgery there that can actually get in the brain. Not PsyDs, not pill pushers, but surgeons who can see, oh, you're beginning to miss part of your brain because you've had repeated concussions. That's called CTE. If you're a sports fan, you might know a friend of mine named Paul Visker. He sued the NFL for $4 billion and won. He lived in a hyperbaric oxygen therapy facility, got 80 treatments per year. He doesn't have a short-term memory. He can't remember where he parked his car 15 minutes ago. But he won that battle, and this year the NFL started ladling out $820 million to football players for people who've had concussions. Oddly enough, many of the people that they're dealing with have concussions. None of the drugs that Four Corners has prescribed for several of these people have anything to do with concussions. They're stimulants. Oh, it'll make you think clearer 20% or 40%. We're talking Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin. They don't work. What works would be Desoxyn, proven experiments. No expertise, no nothing. The third thing, it's called 106 colloidal minerals. We call it food. This area here has the Clark Mine, Longevity.com, GNC, Questopian. They sell this stuff with, 250,000 people across America. What does that do? It fills in trace elements for your brain, your knee, whatever is hurting you, fills in and heals. These people do not prescribe a balanced diet. Try to find a clinical trial on that. But basically, these 106 trace minerals, the Clark Mine sells 77 of them. They call it full spectrum at GNC. Classic 2, Tangy Tangerine 2 with Longevity. Questopian just calls it stone minerals. You get what you need and you fix yourself. Now, those 3 things, those 2 machines, the hyperbaric chamber, the QEEG machine, neurofeedback from neurooptimal.com. It shares an O in the middle, neurooptimal.com. Look it up. We have some of the finest HBOT people. We have 20 medical facilities in Utah. The nearest one's in Richfield, and the next one in Provo, that have hyperbaric oxygen chambers. Some are big rooms where you just go in and read a book, you're in an oxygen mask, and they pressurize the room, and it smashes it in. I've watched gangrenous feet heal in 6 weeks from total black to pink and green, and finally just a little dot in 6 weeks. It's amazing stuff. Do these people use it? No. Should they? Yes. Should your approval pinned on a QEEG machine that would help all of their clients? Hyperbaric oxygen chamber, probably half of them that have physical disabilities. Or guess what? To repair the chemical damage from the 19 pages of illogical, irrelevant drugs that these people are prescribed with the forced coercion of the sheriffs and police. Full cooperation of AMP and P&P probation officers that meet in this town, over at the hotel once a week. Or, well, gee, if you can't get there from East Carbon, tell us when your Four Corners appointment is and we'll make our probation officer meeting to make sure you take those drugs. That again, in half the cases of my experience, as an amateur, are inappropriate. So, it's up to you. Do not make these people an official monopoly with no checks. If you want to make them some preferred contractor, fine. If you want to hand them money, fine. But you should expect certain standards of diet to heal, hyperbaric oxygen to heal, and QEEG neural feedback machines to heal. And you won't have the problems of them taking pills because they won't need them. Simple, huh? Now, with that said, I would also like to point out that we have tried in this area to do things. We've learned some lessons. I originally hailed from the Antelope Valley in California, where we had a board of trade. We had no government-supported tourism. We had no government-supported film commission. And we won't here in what's now going to be known as the Rockies to Wasatch Board of Trade, Tourism, and Television. That extends from Wyoming, eastern Utah to Arizona, and Albuquerque, western Colorado. 1.9 million people, 21 million tourists, GDP of about $111 billion. We have a number of things. You can look up our website, R2W3T.
Excuse me, does this have anything to do with
Yes.
Four Corners?
Yes.
Get to the point.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to build houses, what are called environmental prototype intentional communities, hopefully with the help of your son. And one of the things that we intend to do, whether it's RVs, where they're selling dirt, the RV, and find insurance, percentages of income, or we're going to do anything else. Again, it will have a whole person approach. Again, it's going to take us probably 3 years to get this going in this area, but there's a market here. We think there's capital alignments here that'll do this, but it will probably include Four Corners. But there are standards that we will have that we suggest you have in making any such decisions. All I have to say. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anybody else would like to address this issue? Seeing nobody running to the mic, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 5:11. Item number 12 is consideration and possible approval of resolution number 2024-04, appointment of the Friends of the Carbon County Children's Justice Center Board for 2025.
Well,
Shelley
hello,
Wright.
Commissioners.
How are you?
Welcome, Commissioner Haddock.
Thank you.
So we currently have 4 members, and then we are wanting to welcome Kellie Payne back on the board. She was appointed last year, and so she has requested to be reappointed, and we are, of course, don't want to turn her down. She's amazing. But we don't have any, we didn't receive any other applications, so hopefully we can keep this open and advertise some more for more applicants to join our board, because we need 7 to 9 members, and we have 5. So.
Okay, great. We will keep that open. Try to advertise and get more people to have some input on that board, which is very important.
Yes.
Glad to see that Ms. Payne would like to continue on her services there. Commissioners, any other comments or?
No comments. I guess, yes, a comment. When, if you have someone in mind and they need a nudge, let us know. Maybe we can help you with that.
Okay. Yes, for sure. Thank you, Commissioners.
And thank you for all you do over there.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one applicant at this time, Kellie Payne. I'd accept a motion.
I'd make the motion that we approve the appointment of Kellie Payne to serve on the Carbon Emery Children's Justice Center Board.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The next item on our agenda is consideration and possible approval to apply for a hazardous material energy preparedness grant. Justin Needles.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Welcome, Commissioner Haddock. So every year we go to the State Fire Marshal's office. They provide this HMEP, Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant. We asked for $3,200. There's a $640 match on our part. And this is used for sending our hazardous materials team to the Public Safety Summit or other training. It's helped us buy equipment for flow studies, so we know what hazardous materials are running up and down our freeways or our highways. So we're just preparing for that grant that's going to open probably in the next couple of weeks.
And you say this is a grant that you have pursued previously?
Yeah, we've got it since before I was the emergency manager, so there's several years of history there, and it's 80-20 grant. So they give us up to $3,200, and then we match it with $640.
Okay, great. Any questions?
No questions.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the application, or I guess for the Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Item number 14 is consideration and possible approval of the Development and Tax Increment Finance Incentive Interlocal Agreement between Gary Patel, Status Hospitality Group, and the Price City Taxing Entity Committee. Commissioner Jensen.
Yeah, there's a company that Gary Patel represents and is part of that wants to build an additional 2 hotels here behind the Chevron Market Express. They want to start off with 1 hotel. Both of them are going to be the name brand hotels higher end. And the goal of that is that there are some travelers who are limited on the motels they can stay in, and their corporate requirements are that they stay in one of these hotels that we don't have here. So they have people staying in Utah Valley that have to go back and forth with hotels. So it's an incentive, a tax incentive request from this company that's running through Price City. It'll be in Price City, not in the county. And so there's a request for all of the taxing entities, including us as a county, to give them a break on the taxes that they would pay, turn around and send part of it back to the developer. And it looks like everybody, we're kind of on the tail end of these approvals, but everybody is in favor of it. The bonus is that it will put additional real estate in the area that will be taxed. So currently the property brings in probably very little in taxes, but you put a building on it and it adds value. And part of the value then goes back to the developer. So if we don't do anything, we don't get any extra money. If we do this, we'll see some additional dollars come into all of the taxing entities.
And also, we would look forward to more TRT, more rooms available. Yes. And I believe they wanted to also have a conference room in each hotel, so they would be able to hold events as well and draw more folks in, more conferences, that type of thing. So this agreement would be for us to give a 51% incentive back to them for a 15-year period. The second motel would be built in a certain period of time. If there's a dead end to this, if they don't build the second one, then there is no incentive for it. It goes away. They would have to come back and reapply for incentive if they don't build the second one. Great. And there's also in this agreement, I see in section 7, a maximum amount for the incentive. So say that they were just so busy and getting so much TRT and room that this would max out at $3 million, or 15 years, whichever comes first.
Yeah, and maybe it would be helpful to go through their budget. They estimate the amounts that currently would come in if the building is not built. Currently, we collect all the taxing entities together, the county, the city, the school district, the Water Conservancy District, Bryce River Water Improvement District, and all of the state, the state tax entities. We collect complete total right now for all taxing entities $4,095. And in year one, after the motel is built, that jumps from $4,000 to $141,000. To Carbon County, the TRT amount we would bring in is $38,000, and that stretches out over a 15-year period. And the total amount that would come to the taxing entities for that 15-year period is about $1.75 million. So
not bad at all. So
that, and I might also mention, part of the discussion, we've hesitated as a group with this because a new motel in the area could take away from the existing hotels, and part of what they're saying is that a night's stay in this hotel would be more money than any of the hotels here locally. So it attracts a different group of people. Now, granted, I'm sure it's going to dilute the motels that are here. So that's something that the group has wrestled with, trying to figure out whether to approve this or not, and it's been determined that there's probably enough reason to do it to approve. So,
thank you, Commissioner. Any other conversation? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the development tax increment financing incentive interlocal agreement between Gary Patel, Status Hospitality Group, and the Price City Taxing Entity Committee.
I'll second it.
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the redevelopment agency of Carbon County.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the redevelopment agency of Carbon County.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. We are redevelopment agency. Item number 16 is consideration and possible approval of resolution number RDA 2024-01, authorizing the execution of an amended interlocal agreements for the Intermountain Industrial Park Reinvestment Project area. Commissioner Jensen.
Let me take that. So this is goes back 4 years ago when Intermountain Electronics approached the county about a tax incentive for their potential expansion. They were looking at either coming here to Carbon County or going to Denver, Colorado. Both the county and all the taxing entities and also the state of Utah offered them incentives to keep them here. They agreed to come. They were unable to build the full size of the building that they had planned on building for two reasons. One was COVID, and the other was that there was one parcel of one property owner that they needed to purchase the property from in order to make their full expansion of the building, and that did not happen. And so they went ahead and built what they could with the footprint that was available. They now have purchased the property and they're ready to add on to the building and expand to the full size that they originally wanted. And so the agreement with all of the taxing entities and with us was for the full size of the building. But when they finished the partial building, that triggered this tax incentive to begin. And so they would pay their full tax, and then we would give them back the agreed upon amount after they've paid their tax and the taxing entities got their share. What they're asking in this agreement is for them to now do the expansion, but to get credit for the extra building they're building and extend the life of the agreed upon years, 2 years, so that they can take full advantage of the original agreement.
Said.
Doesn't change how much tax we are agreeing to collect nor give up. It's if they would have been able to do the whole thing, we would have gotten everything year one. So there's these 2 years where we've only got part of that paid.
And it is based on performance as far as building the buildings, employees, number of hours, training, all that.
Yeah, and again, there's this thought in our community that somehow our tax dollars are building their building, and that's not how that works. If they don't build the building, we don't get any additional tax. So by their expansion, the tax that they pay goes up tremendously from what they were paying with their original buildings, and so the taxing entities get more money moving forward, but part of that money is given back because of the expense of the infrastructure they've had to put in.
Okay, great. Any other questions, comments?
Shandy, do you have anything? Come on up. Yeah.
So I just want to clarify, and Larry, thank you. You did a great job explaining this. I do want to clarify just to the public that we've already been through commission and we've already approved these interlocal agreements, these amended interlocal agreements. And then we went out to the taxing entities and we had some language change, more specifically just the taxing entity name. So for example, in the document for Prywide, it said the district, and Prywide said, no, can we change the name back to Prywide and not the district? So realistically, this is to approve some of those changes that the taxing entities had. So Water Conservancy's already approved this. We still need to go to the school district. Carbon County's already approved this. So this is just to change the language, as Larry mentioned, in the documents that we've already approved. Does that make sense?
Thanks for keeping me straight.
You're welcome. Questions for me? Okay.
I don't have any.
I think we're good. Thanks, Shanny. Okay, we entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve resolution number RDA 2024-01, authorizing the execution of amended interlocal agreements for the Intermountain Industrial Park Reinvestment Project area.
I'll second it.
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 17 is adjourn as the redevelopment agency of Carbon County and convene as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn as the redevelopment agency of Carbon County and convene as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 18 is adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners, convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 19 is a consideration and possible approval of assessor-initiated adjustments. Commissioners, we have a list in front of us, which will be the last list from the 2024 tax roll. These are some adjustments that the current assessor and the hired contractor have looked at, have helped folks trying to adjust some of their property issues. And you can see the dates on this list as well as when these were initiated and when the bills started. So if we want to talk about the assessor's plans or want to wait.
Either way.
So I'll take a little side note here. We do have a newly elected assessor. She has gone through some training and she's doing a good start to this position. She would like to come and address the commission on a regular basis, kind of tell us, tell the community what she is up to, what she's finding, and kind of developing a little trust in that office with her in that position. So we look forward to seeing her. She will be starting to tell times of when there can be questions asked, when there can be problems addressed with the assessor's office. So we think it'll be very informative and look forward to that. So hopefully we won't have lists like this going forward. We know we'll still have issue, but hopefully not in the volumes that we've seen.
Can I add one thing to that?
Sure.
We hired Kevin Ewell, who is the gentleman that we've hired for about a year to help clean some things up there. And so he has 30 plus years experience and very good at what he does. He's licensed and has the ability to not only train the office, but for those in the office to work under his license, to receive their own licensing. And so that's critical in trying to get those in our office licensed to perform the work that they need to do.
Absolutely. So we can look at this list and just entertain a motion.
Maybe I could there's several things here. So the first 10 parcels are ones where the appeals were turned in on time. Then we continued to take appeals late. There was a batch that we cut off in September 16th. It came in after September 16th. And then there was some that came in after the deadline in October when things were completely closed off. And so we've addressed most everyone who has turned an appeal in that had justification in making some changes. So I would make the motion that we approve the 10 adjustments to those appeals that were turned in on time, and those that were turned in late after September 16th. And they're not numbered here, but there's 30 or more. And then the appeals that were turned in after the October deadline, as well as the assessor-initiated adjustments. Those are ones that the assessor's office picked up errors and corrected themselves and are making a recommendation that we make those adjustments, as well as 2 parcels that should have been tax exempt that were taxed, and that had to be changed. So I think that's the full list. I'd make the motion we approve these.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved. The next item is the consideration and possible approval of an easement agreement between Carbon County and Michael D. Roberts and Wellington Microtech.
We skipped one then.
Oh, sorry. It's my fault.
20.
My fault. Thank you. We will adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
Do we need a motion to do that?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn as Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we'll go to the consideration and possible approval of an easement agreement between Carbon County and Michael D. Roberts and Wellington Microtech.
I can take this one. This easement is for a parcel of property that's south of the property that Carbon County purchased from the Campbell family. And it's been the intention all along that property have access for rail service. And in order to get rail service to Wellington Microtech's proposed project, they would need to go through the property that we purchased. And so we agreed on an MOU that's already been signed that we would grant this easement. This easement is for the rail to leave the Union Pacific spur that goes to the Savage coal loadout and run along that rail for about a mile in order to get to this property. And so this easement is it's an easement that will be shared by any and everyone who has the need for rail service across the property that we have. So it's a non-exclusive easement. It's for the rail and a service road that would run along the rail. This will not be a public road. There won't be access for anybody of the public to be down in there. So I'm good
Just
with
formalizing an agreement that we've already made.
Yes, and so what this easement will do is it will go into the recorder's office as a recorded easement for Wellington Microtech. So when they need to put their rail in, they have access to that.
I'll make the motion to approve of the easement agreement between Carbon County and Michael D. Roberts and Wellington Microtech.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 22 is consideration and possible approval of a Carbon County credit card for Lincoln Irvine, the Carbon County engineer.
I'll make the motion that we approve a credit card for our new county engineer, Lincoln Irvine.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Second it.